Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, March 5th, 2017. This is episode 1369. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by the Ring Video Doorbell. With Ring, you can see and talk to anyone at your door from anywhere in the world using your smartphone. It's like caller ID for your home. Go to ring.com/techguy and get up to $150 off a Ring of Security kit with this limited time offer. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk tech, computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, smart everything. 8888, ask Leo if it's got a chip in it. I guess that's the definition of smart. It's got a chip in it. It's smart. 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Let's hear from you. If you want to, ask for some help, get some hand-holding on the information superhighway, 888-827-5536. We've got a great website, techguylabs.com. That's a great resource, free to all. You can join us there and ask questions, listen to previous shows, see the answers to other people's questions. The questions, everybody has kind of the same problems with the technology. It's all pretty universal. And so a lot of times if you go to techguylabs.com and do a search, you'll find it. I mean, how many shows have we done? 1,369 shows. Pretty much isn't anything I haven't covered. And that's just the Tech Guy shows since 2004. I've been doing this since about 1992. So I have a little bit of experience helping people get the most out of their technology. I mean, before the internet. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number to call. Big week in the mobile phone space because of what we call Mobile World Congress. It's a big convention in Barcelona where all the tech companies gather to show off new phones, except Samsung. They just showed off tablets. Samsung says they're going to show actually the big two, really, because they're going to show their new phone off March 29th, the Galaxy S8, and then shipping it in April. And Apple has nothing to say until September, so they don't bother going. Apple won't have a new phone, the next iPhone, until the fall. But Android, that's one of the disadvantages. It's, I guess, maybe an advantage and a disadvantage Apple has, which is they only do one new phone a year. And usually they'd only do two. In this case, we're thinking 3 models of the phone each year. Different size screens, different amounts of memory, things like that. And they're competing against dozens, hundreds actually, of Android companies who release new phones every 5 seconds. Now, of course, any individual company probably stills 1 or 2 phones a year. Samsung does 1 Galaxy S series a year, 1 Galaxy Note series every year. So it's similar to Apple. But in aggregate, Android's moving pretty fast. They all use, for the most part, Qualcomm chips. So in a way, they're very similar. They all use the same kinds of screens. In fact, that's one of the problems with smartphones, right? It's hard to differentiate these days. But we're seeing some interesting things. The new LG G6 phone, which will be out next month, has a second screen at the top. Actually, this isn't new, is it? Samsung kind of did this with their S6 and S7 or S5, where they had the little edge screen, the side screen. LG is going to put theirs up at the top. You could put icons up there or, most commonly called, contacts, things like that up there. Fortunately, I think they're still going to offer a headphone jack. I was a little worried with Apple abandoning the headphone jack that the rest of the phone world would just blindly follow. There is that kind of, well, if Apple did it, it must be the right thing to do. But fortunately, a few did. HTC's new Ultra, no headphone jack. I think some of the Motos don't have headphone jacks, but most of the other new phones, including the S8, from Samsung will have headphone jacks. Whew, that's headphone jack's not going away. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Wearables are kind of struggling a little bit. Wearables, according to IDC, wearables grew 16.9% in the first quarter, so that it is a growing market, but not a big growing market. Fitbit, though, of all of them, Fitbit is the number one. In fact, if you look around, I've noticed this, especially if you're at the gym or at a run or somewhere where people are working out, Fitbit dominates. They're a lot less expensive. They do pretty much the same things. They have a broad, as say the expensive Apple Watch. They have a broad range of things. I've been playing with, I've yet to find a great Android Wear watch. I wear the Apple Watch most of the time for fitness, but the square face, I don't like as much as a round face. And Android Wear does offer some round faces. I tried, and I mentioned, I think I did, the LG Sport, which is the first Android Wear 2, was so disappointed by it. Because it's so thick, it's so heavy, the band is so inflexible. It's just, it feels like, a work furlough bracelet. It doesn't feel good. So I thought, well, maybe I ought to try Samsung's Gear S3, and I got the Frontier version. Same features as the LG Sport, but somehow it's smaller, thinner, better looking, more comfortable, interchangeable bands, which the LG doesn't. So that's a pretty nice watch that works with iOS and Android. I think the problem more is the category than any particular brand, though. It's just, who do you really need one of those? We saw some new watches. Huawei's got a new Android Wear 2 watch they announced this week. That might be worth watching. The Huawei Android watch was very nice last year. I mean, was it 2 years ago? Got to play a little bit with the hottest item. Okay, if you have kids, you know this. Or if you're in the 30 to 40 year age range, you might know this. The hottest gaming technology out right now came out Friday, the Nintendo Switch. And I got to play with it a little yesterday. I don't know if you remember last week, we had a young gentleman call. He was 10 years old, I think. He's been saving up. Maybe that was yesterday. He was saving up for a Switch, and he wanted to know, should I buy it? I said, well, how much have you saved up? Because it's $300. He said, $3? I said, well, keep saving. After I talked to him, I played with the Switch a little bit, and I talked to some people. And what I had told him was, wait and see. They don't have but a handful of games right now. Wait and see if the game you really want comes out on it, and if it's really playable on it. Well, I'm here to tell you, having played the new Zelda, and I've never played Zelda before. I'm not in that 30 to 40-year-old age range. The people who grew up with Nintendo and played Prisoner Zelda? Or maybe not just Zelda, had played Zelda. You see how ignorant I am on this. Had played Zelda when they were kids, and so they have this fanatical love for it. Have you ever noticed that? Something that you watched or did or played when you were a kid, now when you, as an adult, this is like, it's more than nostalgia. It's just, you have this craving for it. Zelda. But they're all telling me, and I can only listen to them because I have no understanding of this, that this is the best Zelda ever. That it's a great Zelda. And that the Switch is well worth $300 plus $60 for the Zelda game if you're a fan of that. So, I played with it. It's a 3-hour battery life, 6.7-inch screen. It's a small screen, but the resolution is very good. The clarity is very nice. And it's probably the best portable game player ever. That's what the consensus is. For all its flaws, and there are flaws when it's weird because it's a portable game player, but then you slide off the controllers, drop it into a dock, which comes with it, and you can now play it on the TV as well. So it's both a console and a portable player, but I think mostly as a portable player, that's where people are excited about it. And when you slide the controllers off, they're kind of tiny. They're not, for adult hands, they're a little cramped. And mostly people were complaining because there's hardly any games. And many of the games are just dumb. Like there's a cow milking game. Come on, really? A game where you play with another person where you draw. Quick draw, who can draw first. But it doesn't matter. If you've got Mario and Zelda, then you win, right, in the Nintendo world. And I'm, again, being told, best portable game machine ever, $300, and the best version of Zelda ever. So there you have it. Not my review, but I did play with it, and I was impressed. 8888 Ask Leo. So you can see we talk about anything with a chip in it. So we could talk about the Snap IPO as well. Snap went public, raised $24 billion, I think. 8888 Ask Leo. Let's go to the phones. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. If you call that number, you will be reaching the fabulous Kim Schaffer, who is back, tanned, rested, and ready to answer the phones.
Not nearly as tan as I would have expected, though.
Did you have, well, you're smart, you know. When in my day, we would go out there and we'd take all the sun we can, and now we're all dying of skin cancer. So and wrinkly. So you're smart. Preserve your pearly complexion. But it was fun?
It was awesome.
You were not in the main island.
No, I was on Grand Bahama, which was hit by a hurricane back in October.
Pull that mic closer to you. I don't know where the mic is.
It's here. Okay. It's a little far away.
Nice. So what island? You Grand Bahama.
Grand Bahama. So Freeport area.
Oh, yeah.
Cruise ships do go there.
I've been to Freeport, yeah.
Yeah, so there were no street signs, which made it hard to navigate. But
that's what you want.
Once we found I had to get the international plan, which I didn't want to do, but it was the best $10 a day I've ever spent in my life.
For your phone?
Yeah, so that Google
you can
Maps,
navigate. Yeah,
and plus they drive on the other side of the road, so that's complicated
that's crazy.
too.
Yeah, don't drive. So good. So this is good news. So you used data.
I did.
And Google Maps worked in Freeport.
It worked great.
Nice.
The funniest story of the whole thing is we were trying to get somewhere. I go here, turn left here. And she goes, no, that's not that street. And I just off the cuff said, oh, there was a hurricane. They probably put up whatever sign.
It was lying around.
We asked the locals, and that's exactly what they did. So anybody who's not from there has no clue where they're going. And they probably like it that way.
That's their intent. I guarantee you.
So they're renaming the streets as they go. But it was
nice.
Yeah, once you get to the beach where the sand is like baby powder and the water is crystal blue, turquoise,
nice.
and the rum drink in your hand, then it's all good.
Well, in fact, I'm surprised you're back.
To stay.
We had to really work hard to get you back.
I had to come back for this 3 hours a week.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, let's make the most of it. Let's have fun today. What do you say?
Yes, Dale in Santa Monica has one of those Mac Pros. He says one of the last ones in existence.
Yeah.
It's given him a little bit of trouble every few times he
And Burke,
up.
can you get a sun lamp in there for Kim and make her feel at home? Yeah. We'll play some ocean music. Yeah.
Turn off that air conditioner.
Get her a rum drink. Yeah, no air conditioning. Thanks, Kim. Hello, Dale. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi. I've got one of the last Mac Pro towers.
Save those. Those are like gold.
Yeah, I really like the design. The only problem I have with it is it weighs a ton, and when there's a problem...
You're not really supposed to carry it around.
I know.
In fact, that was the mistake they made with its successor. They made that little the black cylinder, which is relatively portable.
Yeah.
But what you really want, if you ask me, with a pro computer like that, is the ability to open it up, expand it, put new drives in, swap out video cards, all the things you can't do with a new Mac Pro.
It's great. Anyway, the problem I'm having is I got a new monitor, a BenQ.
Yeah, BenQ's great.
And it's really nice. So maybe 1 out of 8 times, it takes much, much longer to come up on the monitor. In other words, you're looking at the blank monitor, and you push the start button, and then finally the sign-in screen comes up.
But it takes a lot longer.
Yeah, normally it takes maybe, I'm guessing at this, I should have timed it, maybe it normally takes about 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. Every 8 times or 10 times, whatever, it's taken like a minute and a half or 2 minutes.
Interesting. The first thing that happens when you power on a Mac Pro is a self-test. And it tests RAM, it tests everything. And in the old days, I don't know, I think they've changed this now with the latest versions of Mac OS. But in the old days, you could tell it was doing a memory test because the pixels would shift on the gray screen. But you're not even getting that gray screen yet.
No. Mm-mm.
And does the monitor, you know how there's a light on the monitor that goes from red to green when it senses a signal?
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, usually on most monitors there's a switch light, and when it's the monitor's not getting a signal to be read. Once it gets a signal, it'll flick to green. The reason I ask that is I'm trying to figure out at what stage in the startup process it's hanging up. It could just be a monitor thing where the monitor is not seeing the screen right away.
Well, what I did was, in order to see if it was the computer or the monitor, I brought another monitor and hooked it up to the same
and
video.
It's doing the same thing?
It's doing exactly the same thing. So it has to be the computer.
Well, or the cable. You might make sure you have a good cable that's in a good connection. Yeah. But it could be the computer.
One thing that the monitor does, there's a little box that comes on and says it's got an input from HDMI. When it gets that.
Yes.
Point.
And is that taking longer too?
I'm going to have to observe that because I don't.
Because that's kind of what I was asking. That's the same thing as that light, which is as soon as it senses a signal from the computer, the monitor lights up and says, "I'm getting an HDMI signal," and it won't display anything no matter what's going on in the Mac until then.
Okay, so I should look and see if that comes up. Make sure that comes up, and if it doesn't,
yeah, it would just give you an idea of what's holding things up. What's going on. Do you hear the startup chime, right?
Right.
Okay. That's right away.
Yeah.
Do you see a gray screen right after the startup chime or not?
No, the screen pretty much stays blank. There's what is it? When I turn the monitor on, there's a thing that comes on that says bin Q, and then that goes off and the screen is blank again. And then the little box in the right-hand side says HDMI input detected.
Good.
And then after that, the screen comes on. And
so the thing that's taking time is that HDMI detected?
Probably.
Yeah. The reason, again, this could be the monitor. More likely it's a computer, but the question is where in the boot up process is it hanging up? And if it's not seeing the monitor right away, that's interesting. That sounds like it's not going through its post test. That computer, it's about 6 years old.
Yeah.
Which is an ancient. I don't know exactly what. Unplug any USB devices.
Okay.
Sometimes USB devices will hold things up. The power, when you power it up, it goes through it looking for what to boot from. And a bad USB device or a funky USB device or just a misconfigured one can sometimes hold that process up. It's going, come on, are you a hard drive? Come on, what are you doing? Are you a hard drive? And that's what's holding everything up. So unplug all your USB devices. You might open that thing up. The beauty of that old Mac Pro is it's so easy to open up. You might open it up, make sure everything's connected properly. The cards are properly seated, in particular the video card. You maybe even remove it and plug it back in again. And check the RAM, the memory sticks as well. Make sure those are well. Because the first thing the computer does after it starts up, you'll get a gray screen. Then it's going to do a memory check. That's part of the power on self-test. I think that you're not getting to that point very fast. So there's something odd going on before you even access the hard drives or even test the memory. And that would probably be the video card, but make sure you got your USB stuff unplugged and see if that works. That computer is well worth keeping alive because it's the last great Mac Pro. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our Tech Guy podcast brought to you today by the Ring Video Doorbell. I don't know if you heard it right at the beginning of the show today. My doorbell rang. How did I know? You may ask. Leo, how did you know? I knew, even though I'm not at my house, I'm at the studio, because I have the Ring Video Doorbell. See, this is the greatest thing ever. You install the Ring Video Doorbell in place of your existing doorbell. Actually, you could put it anywhere. There's a Ring Video Doorbell with a big year-long battery, lithium-ion battery in it, so you can literally put it anywhere, even on your bedroom door if you wanted a doorbell there. But I have mine. I replaced the old wired doorbell with that. I did it myself, about 45 minutes, and that's because I'm not very handy. I watched all the videos on Ring and everything before I did it. They give you everything you need. I mean, you couldn't be easier to do. All you do is remove the old doorbell. They give you the screwdriver, even a drill bit if you need it, and the screws and everything. And you mount the doorbell. Now, this is why it's unique. And by the way, they have a variety of finishes to match your house and so forth. This doorbell has a HD camera in it, a microphone, a speaker, motion sensors. So, and I pair it to my Wi-Fi. So when somebody rings my doorbell, it rings on my phone. And I can even, I love this. Let me show you. I can even answer this. I'll go to my my Ring, and I'll answer the door. So you can see the video. It's very wide angle, so you can see whoever's at your door. Actually, that's Sarah coming in. But I could, and then if she rings the doorbell, I could press accept, and I can say, "Hey, Sarah, there's a package in the living room there. Could you mail that?" Or look for the UPS guy. He's coming. When the UPS guy comes, I can talk to him. Hey, leave it on the porch, and then I can watch it. Oh, there's the cat. Did you see the kitty? Motion sensor is great, too, because if somebody just walks by on the driveway, I could see that, too. It's the ultimate kind of security camera. Nobody ever rings my doorbell without I know it. And if some bad guy is casing the neighborhood, I could say, hey, can I help you? What are you doing? Right now, if you go to ring.com/techguy, you can take a look at the range of Ring of security kits. You get the doorbell, but you can also get the Ring stick-up cam, which is basically a Ring doorbell without the doorbell. The camera, the motion sensor, the speaker, the microphone. You can put that in other parts of the house so you can monitor the backyard or the side. It also has a solar panel that goes with it, so you don't even need to plug it in. It charges up during the day and runs all night. These have night vision. You can see everything. You can totally control the range of motion control in the area, so of motion sensing. So you can say only monitor this area and only do it for 20 feet out or whatever sensitivity you want. They also make the chime, which if you can't hear your doorbell in your house, you can plug into the wall, pair it to the Wi-Fi, and it'll ring when the doorbell rings. Anyway, pick the Ring of security kit you want, up to $150 off if you go to ring.com/techguy. This was easily the best IoT device this year. In 2016. I mean, just awesome. I guess that's last year, technically. Ring, it might be the best of 2017. I haven't seen them all yet, but it's definitely the one I use all the time. Ring.com/techguy. Somebody in the chat room said, I hear the Ring doorbell. Is that Leo or me? Ring.com/techguy. And we thank him so much for the support of the Tech Guy Show. It's okay, Sarah. I was just demonstrating. Usually he joins us on the Saturday show, but we're privileged to have Johnny Jet here on a Sunday. Hello, Johnny Jet.
Hello, Leo.
He's at johnnyjet.com, a travel guru, helps us travel better with technology. You took yesterday off so you could do the travel show.
Correct. I'm here in San Diego, and I just did it. I spoke at the San Diego Travel Adventure Show at the Convention Center, and spent an extra day. And now I'm here at the Hotel Del.
Oh, my favorite hotel in the world! I love the Del. Are you you're in the main building, or you're in a side?
No, I'm in the side one, the Beach Village.
Yeah, I like. Oh, the Beach Village. Oh, you have a suite.
Yeah, this is pretty.
The Beach Village is where the movie stars stay.
That was my presentation, how to travel like a movie star. But,
well, you're doing it.
But without movie star money.
Well, they're paying the way, so that's one way to do it. We stayed there. We spent 5 days there once and stayed in the Ocean Villas. That is so nice. It's kind of really like your little private enclave off to the side.
For sure.
Yeah. Got a kitchen and.
Oh no, we don't have a kitchen.
Oh, you don't have the kitchen?
No.
Yeah, we had a little cottage. It was so much fun. And then there's a nice breakfast there and.
Yes, we had that this morning.
I love the Del. When I'm not staying in the Rockstar Suite, I love to stay in the old building because it's history, right?
Yes,
and the floors creak. You feel like it could be haunted, but it's just so cool.
It's haunted. It is haunted.
They have the old-fashioned elevator, in the main building with a door that opens, and I have to have an operator guy in a bellboy suit. I think he's 100 years old. He's the sweetest guy, and he's going up, and he does the thing. You feel like you're in The Shining.
I love that. There was a place like that. I stayed in Rhode Island. Actually, you probably know it, the Ocean House in Watch Hill. Yeah. It used to be like that. I loved it.
Love it.
Same.
Anyway, enough reminiscing.
That's right.
But a tip of the hat to all our friends in San Diego. It's a great town.
Sure is. So one of the things that I talk about is how to get upgraded, and during my presentation. So one of the websites I recommend, it's brand new, I just learned about it, is a Ward Hacker. So
I like the name.
Hacker.com.
Oh, hack the awards. Wow.
So, a lot of people are now savvy enough to know that if you can pay off your credit card bills every month, the best way to get miles and points is by, getting certain credit cards. But again, don't get it unless you can pay it off every month. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I have a United card, and I just pay it every month because I don't want to pay the interest.
Yeah, I have mine on auto pay, and then I go and look at them all bills
and then I
month.
get lots of points that way, which is nice.
True, but a lot of times you don't know how to use them or what's the best deal. So this actually website will show you. You just put in, if you're going one way, round trip, whatever city pairs, and it can be, it doesn't have to be domestic. It can be international. Also, if you want to make if you're willing to make a stop or not, and which frequent flyer programs. So you can choose from 20 different programs or the 4 major credit cards like Amex, Chase, Citi, and Starwood Amex.
Oh, I got them all. Yeah.
And then all the different frequent flyer programs from Air Canada all the way down to
now. What's
Virgin America.
This field says hide off peak award. What does that mean?
So that is if you want to show the best deal is to get the off peak award.
Okay.
But a lot of times you can't find that.
Right.
So you want to show the off. You want to show the off.
Yeah, show it because that would be the one you really want if you can get it.
Yeah, that's the best deal.
But usually you can only get it on the 3rd Thursday of an 8th month in the year ending with a 2.
Correct. And so, for example, I put in LA to JFK because I do that route often.
Yeah.
And I put it in first class. And a lot of times I would use my American miles, or at least try. And American, the cheapest you can possibly get that I've seen is 50,000 miles. But usually during peak days or when business travelers are flying, it's 130,000 miles each way.
So before you do anything, go to Award Hacker to see if you have enough miles to get this flight for free and what flights are available, because it's really hard to find. I got to say, they hide
and
those.
how to use them, because these guys actually for this route they actually recommend using Cathay Pacific Awards for 40,000 miles for that first class.
Sneaky.
And they'll show you how to do it and what numbers to call or websites to visit. So it's a nice handy website, and I just learned about it.
It's
and I totally
very
recommend it.
kind of simple. You might go there and say, well, where's the site? It's just a calculator, basically. Award Hacker. Oh, I love this. I love this, yeah. And there's no ads or anything. I don't know how they must just do it for fun.
I'm not sure on that part.
It's a free product from U.S. credit card guy.
They're probably making money they're probably trying to get you to buy some credit cards, maybe.
Or if you book through them, don't they get a little something if you book through them?
No, not this way they wouldn't, because you'd be calling numbers and stuff.
Right. All right.
So that's that one. So now I got an app for you. All right. This one is for, if you're traveling this spring or summer and you're going to a foreign country, and it's always nice to, learn a little bit of the local language. We talked about this once before. But this app, it's called Memrise, MEMRISE.
Okay.
And they actually try to make a game out of it to make it more fun. I think they're going after the millennials.
They say learning made joyful.
Yes.
Oh, how joyful.
And it's free for Android and iOS.
So now the king of this, the free language learning apps, is Duolingo, right?
Correct.
How does this compare to Duolingo?
This one's a little bit different because they make it out of a game. And
fun.
And so you're supposed to be a spy. And so you're trying to learn this. You're trying to learn these skills, and I just did it last week, and I quickly learned. I brushed up on my Italian, and so you learn like 3 or 4 words within 5 minutes, but they keep drilling it into you, and then they even email you, and so you're supposed to do a little bit every day, and you can learn from French, Spanish. In Spanish, they're even talking about Mexican Spanish or Spanish,
right?
German, English, Mandarin, Japanese, Korean, Turkish. They have a whole.
I want to do this. This is great. MEMRISE, Memrise.com. But it's iOS or Android, so you can also search for it on your app store.
And the goal is to learn 5 new words a day with them. And I did it within a few minutes. I didn't do it the next day, but they emailed me and said, "Hey, where are you? You forgot to log on." Or 2 days later, they emailed me.
Paige in our chat room says, "I love Memrise, and I'm learning Spanish, and it's so easy."
Oh, good.
So you found something cool. Ooh, I love this. I'm going to make a note of that one, because I really love, even if you just say a few words in a language when you're visiting a country, it just changes the whole complexion of the conversation, because you've made the effort.
Especially in France, if you go into a shop and you don't say bonjour, you're rude, or say goodbye. Bonsoir.
Yeah, and I always say madame or monsieur. Because you want to be very polite. They're very polite, formal people. And it works wonders.
Right.
And by the way, speaking of wonders, I see a little wonder behind you.
Oh, you see
Natalie
Jack?
and Jack. Yeah, I'm looking at. We're seeing Johnny on Skype video, so I can see him. Oh, is he enjoying his first visit to the Hotel Del?
Oh, he is. First time to San Diego.
That kid is spoiled. Oh, hey, Jack. Oh, is he precious? Oh,
Yes,
hi,
he is.
Natalie. Great to see you. Yeah.
So I got one tip. We have time for a
Yeah,
tip?
we got time for a tip.
Okay, so I'm always trying to give you a tip every week. So this time, if there's ever a big major snowstorm or a volcano and you cannot get through to the airline's customer service desk, and I had a buddy call me up 2 weeks ago, said he couldn't get through to United for 2 hours, and do I have a secret number? I was like, no. But what you should do is jump on Skype and call one of their international numbers. So call the Australian United Airlines number. And he texted me back and said that worked.
Oh,
like
that's
a charm.
clever.
It took me 2 minutes, and I got.
And
through.
they don't mind. They don't say, "Hey, mate, what are you calling me for?"
No, I mean they might, but
Who cares? I need help. That's why I can't get those other people.
they shouldn't be putting you on hold for 2 hours.
Right.
So try different
Nice.
call centers.
Nice. And
It won't work for small airlines like Southwest or Virgin America who don't have offices around the world, but for United, Delta, and American for sure.
You'll find more at johnnyjet.com. That's his website. Follow him on Twitter at johnnyjet, on Instagram at johnnyjet. And if he ever comes to town, you can learn to travel like a movie star. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. The tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. The phone number, Daryl in Santa Rosa, California. Hi, Daryl.
Hey, Leo, how you doing?
I'm great. What's up?
I have been with you for 20 years. I
Wow.
won't go into detail, but I'm an old man just traveling this old man that I'm talking to as well.
And you're just up the road a piece. You got to come visit us sometime.
I will, for
Yeah.
sure. My question, I've had a major problem with Adobe Flash
Oh,
on my Mac, newest Mac,
yeah.
newest operating.
Apple doesn't even come with Flash anymore. They hate Flash.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's
I
happening?
never had a problem until I went to the newest version. And all of a sudden, I actually went to a website trying to do something with Adobe, and it gave me a virus. And I've been on Mac for 6-7 years, and I've never had a virus in my life.
Why do you? What makes you think you got a virus?
Well, I actually ran a virus software that I have only temporary on my computer because I agree with you. I don't need these things.
What does it say
But
you've got?
I didn't see it, but there were 3 of them, and I found them through Virus Barrier Express.
Okay. So a couple of things to say. First of all, Flash does work fine on Mac OS. They don't come with it. Apple did us all a favor by kind of deprecating Flash, starting with iOS, which doesn't support it at all. And eventually Adobe even agreed, yeah, we're going to kill Flash. Yeah, Flash is still used by a lot of sites for video and so forth, and you don't need it in general unless if you're on a really old site that there's just no other way to see the controls, then all right. But I always try to avoid installing Flash as long as I can, not because it's a virus. It's certainly not a virus, but it's big, it's slow, it slows things down. On the other hand, it shouldn't be buggy. Now, Flash itself is not a virus, and installing Flash from Adobe won't give you a virus. However, a lot of bad guys take advantage of Flash in a variety of ways. There have been bugs in the past which have allowed bad guys to use Flash to get viruses on your system. There's also an issue of, and this is probably the most common, may even be what happened to you. You're going along just fine. You want to go to a site, and all of a sudden you get a pop-up. Looks like it's from Adobe saying your Flash is out of date. Now, we've seen that so many times over the years. We just go, oh, yeah, right, of course, what else is new? And you download something. It isn't Flash. Flash hasn't done that in a long time. Flash auto updates now. So you shouldn't see that ever. And if you do, it's not from Adobe. That is a virus. And it's a trick sites will play on you. a site that may even be a good site but has been compromised will pop that up and you'll download it. And this is always the risk of downloading and installing something. And I warn you against this time and time again. You should only install something that you went out proactively and got. So, for instance, if you see a message like that, don't click the download button. Go, okay, then go to the Adobe site and download Flash from there. I guarantee you, you're not out of date. But if you've worried that you are, go to Adobe and download it from them directly. Never click a download link in a pop-up or an email or any other place like that. That's very, very dangerous because it's a trick. Once you've installed that thing, you probably put something on there. Now, Apple is pretty immune to viruses. There are viruses out there. Much more common to see things like browser hijacker objects. I don't know that program you use to scan it. I'm not convinced even that program is safe. This is what happens: is you get in this nasty situation where you don't know where to go, who to trust. Of course, somebody sees a pop-up that says you've got a virus or seems something's wrong. Then you Google, Mac antivirus. Now, what do you think? You're going to find some real Mac antiviruses, but you're also going to find some bad things posing as a Mac antivirus. More often than not, that's what you're going to find. It's very dangerous to do any of this stuff, and this is why people get into all sorts of problems. And of course, a program, I'm not sure about the program we use, but somebody in the chat room is pointing out, Boz says, and he's absolutely right, a lot of those free scanner programs find problems because then they say, oh, you got a problem, but if you pay $60 for our program, we'll eliminate it. So that's another issue. So I wouldn't jump to any conclusions at this point. Boy, it's hard to know what to do at this point. You don't want a pretend security program that will actually make things worse. So Intego makes a good antivirus for the Mac. Intego. WebRoot, sponsor of the show. WebRoot makes a very good Mac antivirus. I would far prefer you use one of these known companies. You see, the chat room's giving me a link to an article about virus barrier. Okay, that sounds like it's a legit. If you got it from, the place, they also have Net Update. Oh, Intego makes virus barrier. So Intego's safe. I guess that's the name of their antivirus. I've used Intego for years. So virus barrier's okay. Does it give you disinfection command?
Yes, and I killed all 3 of them that were there.
And now it's clean?
Yes, it is. But after the fact, now I have security warnings constantly when I go to page, which says trust, not trust, or never trust. Okay.
So you probably did have something on there that modified your certificate store. So, this is interesting. What do you do now? You make sure your clock is accurate. First of all, you won't see those certificate errors if your clock's wrong. You can sometimes get certificate errors. So make sure your clock and date is right. It doesn't say 1969. Okay, that sounds like the thing that you got, or the cure. It can be either one. Screwed up your certificate store. So what you could do is delete Safari. What do you use, Safari as a browser?
Yes.
Or Chrome. Delete Safari and reinstall Safari. Re-download your browsers because they come with certificate stores. I think Microsoft does this. They have their own operating system based cert. If that doesn't fix it, then you can do an OS update, which is not a complete reinstall. The nice thing, Apple gives you some intermediate steps between a complete reinstall. And I think an OS update should fix that.
I was thinking of doing a complete reset.
Well, it would that would certainly fix that. That error message is telling you that your certificates are messed up.
Okay.
And that's not good because that's what preserves security when you're visiting a secure site. So you want to heed that warning.
Hey, Leo.
Yeah.
I'm in Santa Rosa.
You want me to come up and fix it for you?
Hailing. It's snowing and hailing here.
Yeah, we had some hail earlier today. I know. Okay.
I mean,
So
I'm getting hit.
okay.
Go ahead.
Go protect your head. So you can fix the certificates for the Mac are in fact stored centrally. They're stored in the keychain. I remember this now. So you can restore your certificates in the keychain. One way to do it, I believe, I'm going to have to look this up. I don't want to misguide you. There is a... you can... I'm going to put a link to an Apple support site. It's more complicated than I can go through on the radio. That'll talk about what to do about broken certificates. I have in the past, and I don't want to say this, it might be the wrong recommendation, but I have in the past deleted all certificates, then reinstalled, and that seems to fix it. But I think it's a keychain. It's in the keychain, and it's a keychain error. So let me do some research. We got a break anyway for news. I will do a little research. I don't want to give you the wrong advice, but that's clearly what's going on. And it can either be that the virus decided to replace your certificates with its own, which accomplishes what we call a man-in-the-middle attack. It lets them see all your encrypted traffic, or the cure screwed them up. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, virtual reality, augmented reality. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. I want to talk a little bit about certificates since the last caller, the last hour, was having a warning every time he surfed to a site. It said, this site is not safe. Continue or abandon. You've all seen that. And this is a security measure used on websites called TLS. Used to be called SSL. It's a way of having a secure conversation with a website. And, in the early days, this was not very common. You do it with a site that you were banking or buying things, or you're giving them credit cards. You'd want a secure site. And so you'd look for, in the domain name in the browser bar, HTTPS, S for secure. You'd look for, in the old days, there was a gold key, remember? And now I think they do a padlock. And if it's really secure, if it's what they call an extended certificate, they'll have a green bar there. All of this is a way of verifying that you are on the site you expect to be on, not some site posing, and that your conversation with that site is secure. It's encrypted. And the way they do that is with something called certificates. A certificate is a form of public key cryptography, and it really works very nicely. In order to do a secure site, and more sites are doing this, even if you're not banking or buying, the idea being, even if you're not giving me, a credit card information, you should have the certainty that you're on the site you expect to be on, that it's not some other site posing, right? I've had text messages from TVVITTER. Looks on the page just like Twitter, but it's not. It's not TW, it's TVV. And I went to TVVITTER.com, and it looked just like Twitter, and it said, log in. And, we're not paying attention. We're, maybe we just woke up, or we're a little sleepy. And you go, yeah, I know I have to log in. I must have forgotten. And now you've given them your Twitter credentials. This is very common. So you really want to be on the sites you expect to be on and not be on the sites that are posing. And the certificates help you do that. It's a complicated system. There are a number of groups that have been approved as certificate authorities. And these are the companies that sell certificates. And there are a number of different levels of certificates. The most secure are extended certificates, where the company that's giving you the certificate is doing research, like calling you up. Are you really who you say you are? The more simple certificates merely verify your email address, So they're different levels. But in general, these certificates are a very good thing. Google and others have really pushed for what we call HTTPS everywhere. Google says we'll rank you higher in search rankings if you're secure. So many sites are. And if you have a blog on Squarespace or WordPress or a number of popular blogging sites, there's a checkbox or a way you can easily have secure. And you might say, well, I don't need to be a secure site. I'm just a blog. Well, it's good for everybody if everything is HTTPS. So we're going to see this more and more. Now, this certificate you have to store on your computer. The browsers, when you install a browser, they come with it. When your operating system comes with them, all operating systems have a certificate store. And there's the root certificates, which are, only a small number of official, authorities can provide. And then the root is the ultimate level of trust, and then they can tell others, we trust them, and you can get your certificate from them. So it's kind of a chain of command, a web of trust, they call it. It's a very good system. You don't need to know the details, but unfortunately, you will see these error messages sometimes. The certificate is not trusted, and there are a couple of reasons that can happen. One, it might have expired. They all have expiration dates. And so if the site you're visiting, its certificate expired on March 2nd and you're visiting on March 3rd, it'll say this site has expired. It's unsafe to go in here. The browsers are, they take that seriously. It's not, we can't prove that this is the site you think it is, and your conversation with them may not be encrypted, and you shouldn't go in there. And sometimes you can check a box and say, I know, I still want to go in there. Because maybe maybe your buddy told you, yeah, my certificate expired yesterday. I got to get a new one. Maybe In general, I'd listen to the browser. It can also go bad for something you did. For instance, if your clock gets reset. And on Windows, you go back to, 1970? On Macs, you go back to 69, something like that. You go back in time. I think Windows is 81. I don't remember. But anyway, you go back in time. The certificate will also be deemed as incorrect because its start date is after the current date. So that's why I often say if somebody says, well, I'm getting a certificate error, well, check your clock. Make sure you've got the correct date and time because that can cause an error. Then the other problem is the problem that our last caller had, which is that something's gone wrong with your certificate store. A malicious software has mangled it, or maybe it just got mangled by accident. But for whatever reason, your browser can no longer validate these certificates. And when that happens, you'll get that all the time. It'll pop up all the time. And you should not ignore that because, again, you might be having an unsafe conversation. So you want to pay attention. And if you get warnings that this site cannot be trusted, that's a certificate warning, you want to listen to it. And if you get it a lot, you want to figure out why you're getting it. Is my date and time wrong? Has my cert store been damaged? We'll put on the website, techguylabs.com, a Apple support note on how to kind of refresh your certificates. Apple stores the certificates in a keychain. And if it gets damaged or deleted by accident, how to fix that. But you do want to make sure that that's accurate. It's really important for your own security and the security of the internet. And that's the story of the certificates. Howard in L.A., Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Howard. Did I push the right buttons? Howard, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, welcome to the show. I think I put him to sleep with that certificate story. I'm done.
Now just pick up the phone from speaker.
Thinking about it. Yes. What can I do for you?
So I've been trying to ask this question solve this problem for over a year now.
Yikes.
I'm a Skype user. And every time I dial Skype, you just put in the area code and dial the number. It defaults to the China code.
It thinks you're in China.
Thinks I'm in China. And in fact, I called in yesterday about the problem. And when me and your telephone monitor there were talking about maybe a China hack, I got disconnected.
No, it's not a China hack.
Internet went
No, it's not a China hack. So what kind of computer? Windows?
Using a Windows computer.
Okay, go into your control panel. Yeah. Go into your control panel and the region settings and make sure that you are not set for China. Because Skype looks at your. You've done that because Skype looks at your region settings and says, "Oh, I'll be nice. I'll be helpful. I'll pre-populate the phone code." I suppose it's also possible that you got your Skype from the Chinese site. So maybe uninstall Skype. You've probably done this too if you've done that. Uninstall Skype and reinstall it by getting it from Skype.com.
Done that.
Done that.
And I've used this account on several computers. So here's the fixes that I've tried to do, and I've narrowed it down to I have Time Warner cable internet at home. I use the same laptop computer at work, in the office, as well as at home. But when I use the Skype on the same laptop in the office, it works fine. So there's something with the IP address, and when I called Time Warner, they are no help.
Yeah, I think I know what this is, but unfortunately you hear that music, so hang on. I'm going to take a little tiny teensy break, and I'll come back, and I think I know what's going on. We'll fix it when we come back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. He lives in Los Angeles, but Skype thinks he's in China. And you were just telling me, Howard, that your speed test knows you're in Los Angeles. It chooses nearby servers, right?
Correct.
But
when I don't dial a +1 for the U.S. country code, if I just dial an area
it gives you a Chinese area code. Yeah. So
now, if I use one of these IP programs that you can force it to mask your IP address, and you tell it, let's say
that fixes it
or something.
Yeah.
It fixes it.
All right. So what's happening is that your particular IP address, and Time Warner could probably fix this at some point. So the way these systems work, both speed test and Skype and so forth, is they look at your IP address and they say, well, where is that? In general, that's a fairly good way of doing it. But occasionally you get errors. In this case, Time Warner probably has a batch of internet addresses that used to belong to a Chinese ISP. And so your internet address is associating with a Chinese location. And Skype's using its geolocation database, which may be out of date, may not be good anyway, to just assume you're in China. I don't think it's a harmful thing. It's just a pain in the butt, right?
Well, the pain is that it eats up my Skype credits every time it talks.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, you got. Oh, yeah. If you don't notice, and yeah, that's not good.
And then even trying to call your show, once it remembers the number as a Chinese country, to dial that same number, you have to go into the phone book and manually change it to the right country, and it becomes very cumbersome.
Yeah. If you go to a site like my old friend ipchicken.com. Have you ever? Are you in front of your computer right now?
Yes, I am.
You can go to ipchicken.com, and it will tell you. I think maybe it doesn't. Does it tell you where you are? I'm going to find a DNS reverse DNS that'll tell you where you are. Because
tells you your IP number.
Yeah, you want to. I think you have incorrect. Maybe that's not the one. I think you have incorrect geolocation information. And the one way to do this would be call up Time Warner and say, I want a new IP address. I want a completely new one. And they may just change it for you. You can sometimes force that by just unplugging your router and replugging it in. Let me see where would, okay.
And when I call Time Warner, the people that you get passed off to have no idea what you're talking about, and they throw you.
Yeah. Remember,
for Leo Laporte.
Yeah, frontline tech support is often just somebody.
Leo.
Yeah, it's just somebody in a big room with a notebook. Doesn't mean that they know anything. Go to maxmind.com, maxmind.com. This is one of the big companies that provides IP address geolocation to companies like Skype. And just to see where they think you are, or IP2location.com. Try MaxMind. It's a commercial service, but you'll see on the front page you can enter any IP address. You'll need to know your own IP address first, and it'll say where that location is. ipinfo.io. We've got a few of them. So these are all geolocation services. But since MaxMind is one of the big companies that sells this database and may well be the one provided the database to Skype, I would just try a few of these to see if any of them say you're in China. And then that would confirm that your IP address, your unique one and only phone number on the internet, was at one time associated with China, or maybe incorrectly associated with China. That happens too. There's my wonderful article in, I want to say Vice, maybe it's BuzzFeed, but a wonderful article about how these services can sometimes fail. There's a family living in a farm in the middle of nowhere. I think they're in Kansas, but it happens to be their IP address, their location, their longitude and latitude is the default provided when a company can't figure out where an IP address belongs to. It's in the it's close to the geographic middle of the U.S. So the company says, well, I don't know where it is. It's here. Unfortunately, a lot of people get very angry at these because they'll do Find My iPhone and they'll say, your phone is at this farm in Kansas. So these poor people for years have been harassed by people who've mistakenly assumed that's the people who stole my phone, or that's the people who are sending me this spam. And they're not. They just happen to be at the default location. So your IP address is unfortunately tied to a geographic database, but is not always accurate.
Now, MaxMind says, based on the IP address from running a speed test, that it tells my IP address. It does say I'm located here in Sherman Oaks in Los Angeles.
That's good. So it's accurate. Try IP. It may be more up to date than the one Skype's using. Try IP info. Try this other ones. One of our Florida listeners says he just went to ipinfo.io, and even though he's in Florida, it says he's in Wichita, Kansas. I think that's that location. So sometimes, or ipfingerprints.com, we've got a bunch of them. We'll put it in the show notes at Tech Guy Labs. I would try them all and see if one of them says China.
So aside from that,
if it's not that, yeah, I don't know what you could do about it except call Time Warner and say, I want a new IP address, darn it.
How do you trick them to getting to a senior engineer rather than a low level?
Just ask to be elevated. Let me think. The other way you could test this is use a VPN. If you try a VPN will then identify you on the internet not as your own IP address, but as the IP address of the VPN server. And that's another way.
When I use a VPN, and if I say I'm in, Phoenix or another city, or
does that fix it?
Then it does work. Properly when I use a VPN.
So that is conclusive evidence that it's your IP address. And that for some reason, it may even be just an error in the database, but for some reason Skype has decided your IP address, that's in China. Not a whole lot you could do about that except perhaps get a new IP address. Time Warner doesn't guarantee your IP address, notice. You have to pay extra for what we call a static IP address. And so they can refresh and give you a new IP address. Is
it possible that in Los Angeles they have a number of IP addresses that do this? Because it's not a one-time thing. And
they probably have there's a couple of possibilities. One is that there's just a typo in the Skype database, and you're the only guy suffering this. Or it could be that there's a range of addresses, and this is, by the way, if this is the case, maybe getting a new address won't fix it because you might get another address in that range, but there's a range of addresses that Time Warner has that did originate in China. Now, this is a larger problem and it happens, sadly, with some frequency because sometimes people get IP addresses that were associated with a spammer, and then they have a hard time, emailing and things. So let me see if I'm just going to Google, how do I get a new IP address from Time Warner? There's some things you can do on the Time Warner cable site to say, get a new IP address. I would do that until you get one that doesn't show up in China, according to Skype. Leo, interesting problem. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. And Chris Marquardt is here, which is a miracle because he is right now, as we speak, in Siberia. But we've recorded this ahead of time because we didn't want to go a week without Chris Marquardt. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Leo.
Actually, are you still in Siberia, or by March 5th will you be have moved?
I will still be in Siberia. Well, that's a couple of days before we go back to Moscow and spend a few days there. And
how do you get to Siberia? You fly to Moscow and then take a train, or?
Well, from here I fly to Moscow and then I take another flight to Siberia. The airline's called S7 Airlines. Those are the guys who did the video with OK Go. They have these zero gravity flights and. We will not use one of those. Apparently, we'll just have a regular flight there. It's a long flight from Moscow, though. I think it's a 5-6 hour flight from Moscow. So it's Siberia. Russia's huge, and we have a few Americans, and I think a couple of them are flying the other direction some way.
Oh wow!
So, yeah.
Well, you haven't left as we speak. Have a great trip up there, and when you come back, I hope you will share lots of pictures of the world's largest frozen freshwater lake.
I'm definitely working on it as we speak.
Now, last week we talked about wide-angle photography.
Yes,
that's where you got your camera all the way in. You got the most field of view. It's great for landscapes. We were talking about the problem that buildings can pose. They look like they're falling on you.
Right.
Let's talk more about that.
I want to stick with that for a while because I'm at this point I'm actually working on a book about wide angle, so I'm really deep into that topic.
I like wide angle. You know where I like to use wide angle is in like a party where there's a lot going on, and the wide angle you get all this stuff going on. It's kind of fun, and you can get right in there because with a wide angle lens you can be standing next to somebody. Now, of course, they may not like it because their nose looks really big, but you can stand right next to somebody and get this whole view. I love that.
And that's kind of the most important purpose of wide angle is to get a lot in the shot, to increase your angle of view. And you see this a lot in architectural photography, as we talked about last week. You see this a lot in landscape photography. You will see this, on parties. But here's what I want to talk about specifically today, and that is portraiture with wide angle. Now, you just said it.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You can really offend somebody.
But here's the nice thing. I think there's a lot of potential for wide angle. Normally, when you talk to people, or when you talk to photographers or teachers, and they tell you what to do in order to get a good portrait, they will tell you about how to shoot one of these pleasing kind of head and shoulders type portraits.
And they always say, don't use wide angle.
Exactly. Don't use wide angle. Go telephoto.
Yeah.
And that telephoto will allow you to step back so you're not in their face, and it will make all the proportions in the face look nicer, so you won't have a big nose on the photo. And another thing that the telephoto also does it is easy. It makes it easy to throw the background out of focus, so people can look at the portrait and really concentrate on that person. And the reason you're being told that you shouldn't use a wide angle for that is because wide angle exaggerates depth. It exaggerates the proportions. So things that are close to the camera appear bigger, and things that are further away at the camera from the camera appear smaller than you see them with your eyes. So if you point that at someone with wide angle, you will have to get closer because they will be smaller in the picture. That's what wide angle does. You get more in the picture, everything gets smaller. So you have to go in, you have to get closer. And then there's the problem. You will...
you get a big nose.
You will have a big nose, yeah. And so a few tips about that, because a wide angle will give you some things that the other kind of portraiture, the more regular kind of portraiture, will not give you, and that is context. You will get more stuff around what's going on. So you will be able to include things around it. The shot of you in the studio, there's a lot of stuff going on behind you. There are things on the shelf, and with a normal portrait, you wouldn't see much of that. But going a bit more wide angle, you get a lot of context. You get a lot of more information in there. Now, first, keep some distance. Yeah, of course. Second, watch the foreground and the background, because a wide angle doesn't throw the background as much out of focus. It kind of keeps things more in focus. And that means whatever is in the background has a higher chance of interfering with what's going on in the foreground. I mean, the proverbial branch growing out of your ears, or a lamp post coming out of your shoulder. You got to watch out for these things, and you got to watch out more with a wide angle lens. Another thing that you got to be really careful with when you shoot wide angle, especially when you shoot with a strong wide angle, is to keep people's faces kind of in the middle of the frame. Normally, I would say, yeah, put them somewhere outside of the middle because that makes the shot a bit more interesting. But what happens in wide angle is that there is, the further you get to the closer you get to the edge of the frame, the more distortion you'll have. So it's pretty much going to turn people's heads into eggheads. You'll get really weirdly shaped heads, very stretched out faces if you put someone's face at the edge of the frame in a wide angle shot. And one nice thing that you get with a wide angle lens is you can also have more open space. When's the last time you've looked at a CD cover? Often they are a photo over the entire thing, and then there is some copy on it, some text on it.
Right.
And you need space for that. You
Right.
can't just have a very
Right.
close portrait. You need space for that. So I kind of tend to shoot pictures with a bit more space around the subject anyway, just to get more space to be able to, I don't know, make a poster or a postcard or put them on my website with some copy on it.
Well, nowadays, for instance, a lot of people, for social media purposes, want to take a picture they can caption or put text or put an image on. So this is a good example. Now, and good news, your smartphone is generally a wider angle lens than typical, right? It's usually 35 or 28 millimeter effective. So there should
usually
you can take advantage of this, have more space in the image.
And the fun thing is you can use these weird distortions just to have some fun. I mean, what's wrong with someone's nose being big on a photo? Well, if you can see that that's an actual kind of a joke picture.
Do it in a selfie. Don't do it. Don't do this.
Get one of these little fisheye adapters for your smartphone. Put that on, and the fisheye is pretty much an extreme wide angle lens. And then go for it. Have fun. I mean, big noses can be fun.
One place you'll see a lot of wide angle photography is in skateboard videos and action. Videos.
All these action cams have fisheye lenses. They're super wide angle. So if you have one of those, you have a wide angle camera, and you can actually have quite a bit of fun with that.
It gives you a really interesting, exciting result when you use those for action. I guess it feels like you're maybe more in the action. Maybe that's why.
The thing is, you have, as it's a super wide angle, you have to get really close, and that kind of adds the feeling of being right in there.
You go. That's why.
Being right in your face, because you actually are very close.
Yeah.
With a telephoto, you if you do this with a telephoto, it gives you more of a, let's say, a paparazzi feeling, someone watching things from the distance. And that kind of translates in the picture. And with a super wide angle, well, you have to go all the way in, and that will translate in the picture as well.
You're the man, Chris Marquardt. You'll find his stuff at discoverthetopfloor.com. That's where he posts workshops, photos, and information about his great podcast, which I highly recommend to anybody who's a budding photographer or an accomplished photographer. It's a great way to learn about the gear, the talent, the technique. Discoverthetopfloor.com. Don't forget, we are still doing our assignment. If you take a picture illustrating the word or concept break, whatever that means to you, we're not going to tell you ahead of time, and submit it to our Tech Guy group on Flickr.com. In the next week or so, maybe next week, we'll do a review, and Chris will pick 3 images that he thinks are worth talking about, and we'll do the strangest thing ever, talk about photography on the radio. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, Chris.
Talk to you.
Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. We go right back to the phones, and Matthew is in Newport Beach. Hi, Matthew.
Hey, Leo. How you doing today?
I'm great. Welcome to the show. What can I do for you?
Thank you. I actually wanted to comment on something you said earlier about the smartwatches.
Yes.
Have you ever tried the Moto Active?
The Moto Active. I have a Moto 360 and a Moto Sport. I don't know the Moto Active. No.
Oh, man. The Moto Active was probably the greatest smartwatch I've ever had in my life.
Oh, and what happened to it?
Look
at that thing. Holy cow. That's like wearing a book on your arm.
Yeah, but it had 32 gigs of memory. And you could put music, everything.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to wear a big watch, go big or go home. Wear a big watch.
It felt so comfortable when you ran. It was like a Fitbit on
steroids. Of course, runners have always worn big watches from Polar and other companies. So but now they don't make this anymore. Do you still have yours?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Yeah.
I'm so static with it.
This watch is so big it had a USB port so you could connect it to your computer.
It even kept track of your golf swing.
Wow. Well, there you go. Moto Active, or ACTV. I'm not sure how they pronounce. I guess active without any vowels. All right.
Right.
Are you a runner?
Yes, I am.
What do you wear these days?
Unfortunately, I don't have anything. I carry my phone. I've been looking towards the Nixon smartwatch they have.
Yeah, the Nixon's really cool. Nixon, of course, is a great sport brand, and they have an Android watch that's really good looking. Wait till it does Android 2.0, though, of course, Android Wear 2.0, which I'm sure it will do. Yeah, they may, some of these companies, and Nixon's fairly recent, so they probably will update to 2.0, and that has a lot of nice features, is better on battery life. There's a lot of reasons to like the new version of Android Wear. But it's so I'm not a runner, obviously. So if you've ever seen me, but I would guess that among other things, you want, of course, how far you've gone. You'd like a GPS track of where you ran. That's kind of nice to take a look at. Heart rate, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Is there any other data you'd like? It's mostly metrics for the run, right? And then if you could play music, that'd be great, because then you wouldn't have to carry a phone.
That's why the Moto Active was so genius. It did everything, and it had music, too.
The Nixon has 4 gigs of storage, which is probably enough for a pretty good long run. Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, almost all the Android Wear watches will play music from the Android Wear watch, and I think it's typical to have 4 gigs, which is quite a bit. The Nixon does have GPS, apparently, so that's good news.
That's good as well. It's waterproof.
Yeah. Hey, it's nice to talk to you. Thank you for the update. The Moto Active, there's one to search for on eBay. See if anybody's selling theirs. Bill in Orange County, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Bill.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, just a kudo. I called you a long time ago. I'm a hiker, and when I shared with you what I was going to do, I actually gave you a link to my trail journal, and I'm not that well known of a person, and I got like 30,000.
We have a lot of listeners. Did you do the hike? Did you do the trail?
No. What happened is I had some problems. I had to leave the trail. Anyway, I had to have some surgeries. And it was kind of a mess for a couple of years, but it was great while it lasted, and it was great that I was able to connect with you. I had no idea I would have that kind of. I thought, geez, I don't know this many people.
Well, give yourself some credit. I think people were interested in what you were doing. I mean.
Well, so, yeah. I mean, it is kind of. Now it's almost like everybody and their brother is out there, but
it's so crowded these days. Well, what can I do for you now? What is your new plan?
Okay. Well, my new plan is my wife and I have been to Europe a couple of times, and I'm trying to solve a couple of problems that I've had in the past. One is cell service in Europe. Yeah. And the other is, especially this year, I'm going to do a lot of driving, and so it's navigation.
Right.
And it's so like if I go with the rental car navigation outfit, it's
oh yeah. And you have a great nav tool in your phone. The only thing you need is data, right?
Exactly.
So the good news is that the situation has transformed since the last time you were in Europe. It all started with T-Mobile offering free low-speed but unlimited data in Europe, in most of the countries of the world, in fact. T-Mobile's owned by Deutsche Telekom, the big German telecom company. And so they were able to make deals to give you inexpensive phone calls, unlimited free texting, which by itself is very valuable, I think, and unlimited 2G or 3G data. Since they first initiated that, I've noticed that it's improved considerably to the point where it's often 4G speeds in many countries. They will offer you a data pass. That's one of the upsells that they offer you. From time to time, you get a text message saying, "Oh, you could have even faster speeds if you pay us $30." But you could ignore that. So once T-Mobile started doing that, then Sprint also followed suit with their One World plan. Very similar. You have to call Sprint and set it up, but it's very similar. And now even Verizon, which used to be the worst for this stuff, and AT&T are following suit with unlimited international data plans, which is fantastic. So check your carrier. Who's your carrier?
It's actually AT&T.
Yeah.
And their plan is $10 a day.
But unlimited.
Yes, and it's so if you use it day one but don't use it day two, you're only charged $10.
So that's expensive compared to T-Mobile, obviously, but it's not too bad. I also use Google Fi, which basically doesn't charge you any different internationally than they charge you at home. It's the same price, so you're $10 per gigabyte of data. So $10 a day is the International Day Pass. Yeah, I remember when they announced that just a couple of months ago. So that's not a bad deal. The reason you might prefer... How long are you going to be in Europe?
6 weeks.
Oh, all right. I see the problem. So that's $420 for the 6 weeks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
If I'd have to just
that's a lot.
Whatever I was doing.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much.
Yeah.
So a couple of things you can do. You can get a SIM, but you're and nowadays I think that this has gone in effect. European roaming is free, so you can get a SIM in any of the countries you visit as long as you're in the EU. That card will work the same everywhere. And those are cheaper, of course. But if you put that SIM in your phone, well, a couple of things. First of all, your phone has to be unlocked. You can call AT&T. They'll do that for you if you're in good standing, or you just say, I'm going to Europe. And second, you're going to lose your phone number. You're going to have an international phone number. The other way to go, which is what I did last time we were in London a year ago, get what I call them MiFi cards, little credit card wireless access points that get their data from LTE and then allow you to attach up to 5 devices via Wi-Fi. And you carry that around with you. And that's affordable. You can rent them. You can rent them when you get into the country. If you want to know more, I could point you to a website that's really got all this information. It's a wiki, so that means users are updating it. Prepaid with data. Just Google prepaid with data wiki and you'll find it. And they'll talk about the countries you're going to and who offers these wireless cards. That's a good way to go.
Okay.
That's a good way to go.
Okay.
Right. When are you going to the EU? Drive Dave is telling me that June 15th is when that new EU data roaming plan takes effect.
Okay. Well, we're actually leaving May 15th.
Oh, how fun. How fun. And, what countries are you going to be in?
France, England,
Scotland,
and Ireland.
So you might have to get one card in France, then when you get to the UK, get another one.
Yeah.
But some companies like 3. If you go to prepaid with data, you might find a company that does both. 3, I think, probably does both, and so that's what I used. I used a 3 data card. It's about the size of a credit card. You rent it, and then you pay a fee for the data. It's not expensive. The only negative is it's hard to keep it charged, so get an extra external battery that you can plug it into. If you're in your car, you just charge it from the car's charger. And that'll give you the best GPS and the cheapest because you'll be using your phone. Your phone just keeps its phone number. You turn off data roaming, very important, but you use Wi-Fi all the time. And the Wi-Fi is getting its data from this little card. I think that's the best way to go. Hey, have a great trip. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Veronica on the line from Palmer. Hey, Veronica. Alaska.
Hey, hi, Leo. You're off the air here, but I guess I still got you. That's good.
Yeah, I'm doing the show. I don't know if your local station's carrying it, but all right.
Well, this is on the radio. Anyway, it's only from 10 to noon, so you're...
Oh, that's it. Yeah, we do 3 hours, but it's not unusual. Some stations, they have other things they want to do. They only take a first couple hours. Yes, but I do a whole 3 hours, so you can always call me in hour 3, Veronica.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Hey,
Tell everybody in Alaska.
Pardon?
Tell everybody in Alaska.
I will do that.
Would you? Thank you.
Well, listen, I'm a cell phone dummy here. I have a Motorola Quantico flip phone. It's the only phone I've ever had, cell phone. And my local carrier, Matanuska Telephone Association, the co-op, is no longer doing cell phone service because they can't keep up with the technology.
Oh. So I'm taking it Palmer is in kind of a rural area of Alaska?
Well, it's not really. It's only 40 miles out of Anchorage, so it's not really rural. It's a big borough, but it's not rural at all.
Not big enough for a big phone company, though.
Well, it is. It has. They've made an agreement with Verizon, and then there's also AT&T.
Oh, good.
But so I had to do this. I found out about it last. I guess it was October, November, but they keep extending it. But I've got till the end of March, so I have to come up with a phone, a cell phone, and I don't know who to go with.
Well, so first question is: so you're going to move to AT&T?
Well, I don't know. I could, but AT&T still has flip phones.
Do you want a flip phone, or do you want to go with a smartphone?
Well, I thought I might try to move into the 21st century.
So, I'm not sure what your phone system is like there. Do they have LTE up there yet?
What's that?
Yeah. You're going to have to...
I'm sure they do. See, I'm just ignorant about all that.
Well, do you see people going around with iPhones and stuff?
Oh, yeah, there's lots.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people have iPhones, and then I don't know whether they go to Android or an iPhone.
Well, I think an iPhone would be good for you, but I guess the first thing I would say is, when you see somebody with a smartphone, ask them, who are you using for the service? Is it AT&T or your local co-op? I guess the co-op's going out of business, right, in the cell phone business?
No, they're not going out of business. They're just not doing cell phone anymore.
Well, that's what I mean.
Agreement with Verizon.
So
you're giving you a credit.
Okay, good. So you have Verizon or AT&T. So ask them which they are with and whether they like it, how well it works, because you're going to try to figure out which company to go with first.
Well, and see, that's it, Leo. I've done all that, and I'm 71, and I just don't want to do this. So
I don't blame you. But have you figured out who's the best in Palmer?
I have not, because we have a lot of mountains. In the summer, I go a lot of mountain ranges, and I don't know if some of them either.
It'll drop out there, but it probably will. But it really, I can't predict it because it depends where, how many cell towers they've put up in your region, whether they put them up in the mountains or just said, nobody's going to want phone service there and all that. That's the only reason why you got to, maybe ask some people, what do you get and where do you get it? Because you'd like to know, right?
Well, the only reason, I don't want to get addicted like I see all these people walking around.
Get addicted. It's the best thing ever.
I don't know about that. But I
said every addict to anybody who's not addicted. Come on.
I've been an addict.
You'll love it. It's fun.
Anyway, I want it basically just for pictures and to call out, and I don't usually even have it on unless I'm calling, but I might put it on more. But I want something that's simple, and I don't know... and it's all going to be expensive anyway I look at it, which is kind of irritating. And I don't know if an Android is better or an iPhone. One of my friends has an LG, and that's like $60 a month he pays, and that's unlimited.
It's expensive because you're going to get not just phone service, you're going to start getting data.
Yeah, I don't see, and that's it. How can I avoid that, or by getting another flip
you don't want to get a smart. Yeah, you can avoid it by getting another flip phone. So if you only want phone service, then don't get a fancy phone. Get an inexpensive flip phone, because if you get an iPhone or Android phone, you're going to want data, and that's going to be actually $60 a month. That's a pretty good deal.
Well, that's the minimum, but then it would go up.
And then it goes up. Yeah. Typically, it's 70.
I don't plan to give that up.
Well, you could give that up. I mean, that might be one way to kind of subsidize the smartphone. Is just say, well, I only need one phone.
Does it sound stupid to you if I just continued on with the flip phone?
No, of course not. Unless you want.
Everybody keeps thinking I have to get into the 21st century.
This actually is a great question, and you would think because I'm the tech guy, I'm going to always say, oh yeah, you got to get the latest, greatest. No, I don't think so. Not for everybody. Let me tell you what you would be able to do with a smartphone that you might want to do. A lot of it is that it's not as much a phone as a computer. So you can use the web browser, you can use the maps, to see where you are, where you're going, to get location directions, even turn-by-turn directions. It's
I'm a bus driver here, and I know where I'm going. I don't think I need to. And I don't
Palmer doesn't change that much, huh?
No.
Okay.
I don't
so you don't need GPS. But there's also, you can play games on it, and you can, the real thing that I think is the killer feature of smartphones is the communications feature. So you can do messaging with other people. Of course, they have to have a smartphone to really get the best out of this. But
I don't want to do any of that. I just feel like, and I don't.
And you should not get a smartphone. Why would you get a smartphone then to pay $80 a month for something you're not going to use? I think you're absolutely right. Get a feature phone. That's what they call them. They're dumb phones, but they're called feature phones.
Like a flip phone?
It's like a flip phone. Some of them are candy bar shaped. And what you're going to do first is choose the carrier. And then if that's what you're getting, almost every one of them will say, oh, we'll give that to you for free as long as you agree to be a customer for a year or two.
Well, I know that AT&T has three kinds of flip phones that you can get. And the one said it was only $25 a month if you automatically.
Yeah, because you don't have data. You're just making phone calls.
Yeah, that's all I want. Because if I get email and all that, then people are going to be sending me garbage, and I just don't want.
Yeah, I don't need that. It's just a bunch of aggravation. I don't need. I completely agree with you. I
can't believe you're telling me this.
Why
need to get a smartphone?
I think people assume that you just have to be with the modern world, but no. Unless you want to do something specific, there's no reason. Now, you have a computer at home, right?
No, I don't, see?
Well, you're really...
I don't have a TV either.
You're happy, though, right?
I am very happy.
What do you do of a winter's evening?
Well, I listen to the radio a lot, and I read books, and...
can't knock any of that.
I watch the eagles and the moose and the red fox and the birds, and I just have like a little sanctuary in here. And I'm right near town. I'm 3 miles from Palmer. So
don't you dare get a smartphone. You've got heaven there. You shouldn't. You don't need anything. You got a wood stove?
Yeah, I do.
You keep that fired up, and you've got a good book? What more would you ever want? Got a nice cup of tea?
Yeah, I like coffee. But, see, I know the smartphone, any of that, would just send me in a tizzy because I wouldn't know what to do with it.
I'm giving you permission. You tell all your friends. I called the tech guy, and he said, under no circumstances should I get a smartphone.
Oh, great.
He told me, you could say, this will make him feel good. He told me I'm too old and dumb to get a smartphone.
No, I'm not too old. I can still learn. But
I know you're not. Of course not. But I'm just giving them a little razz them a little bit. No, you're fine.
I think too much information can drive you nuts, and it does me just listening to the news sometimes.
Can I move to Palmer? I'm coming. I'm moving up there. You got another bus I can drive?
Sure, we're always needing bus drivers.
I think you got a little piece of heaven up there. Why mess it up with Snapchat? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Great to talk to you. Tarzana, California we go. David is on the line. Hi, David.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you? Welcome.
Good. Thank you. I bought a MacBook Pro in 2010, and about this Mac, it's Mac OS X version 10.6.8.
Okie dokie.
So, of course, my Safari doesn't work. When I try to go to any basic website, it says your browser does not support this website. So I Googled how to do it, how to get like an updated website, and so it said an updated browser. And so I tried to get Mac OS Sierra, and it said this update requires OS X version 10.7 or later, and I have 10.6. So how can I...
How do I get out of Snow Leopard? I'm trapped in Snow Leopard. By the way, you could use Google Chrome. I'm pretty sure they still support Snow Leopard. So, oh no, wait a minute. They discontinued that too. Oh boy. Yeah, maybe it's time. What year is the Mac from?
It's a MacBook Pro from 2010, and I got to tell you, it's a great computer for 6.5 years.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spend $1,000 on a new computer right now.
No, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm just going to see what the latest version of Mac OS you can run, because that's what you want to do. And how you get there, that might be a little trickier. You have to probably go bit by bit. Let me just look at Apple's support note for this. Is it a 13 or a 15? Oh, it's all right. Doesn't matter. I don't think that makes any difference. I'm just looking at the see what Apple says about came with Snow Leopard. But what they want is they want you to get to the App Store, the Mac App Store, because that's how OS updates are done now, and you don't have that yet. So the first thing you got to do is upgrade to a version of Mac OS that'll have the App Store on it.
Okay.
I know what you're asking. I'm just trying to find the answer to the question of what you would do next. You're 10.6.7?
10.6.8.
8. And do you have, under the Apple menu, do you have an App Store entry?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and it's got Mac OS Sierra, and it says Mac OS Server.
Yeah, the latest is Sierra, but it says you can't install Sierra. You tried to install it and it said you couldn't do it?
Yeah, I have to have 10.7 or later.
Okay. So you need to go from Snow Leopard to, what was the next one, Lion? I can't remember.
It's like you're speaking a foreign language to me.
I would look, yeah, I think, so you do, okay, here's the good news. You have the App Store. Here's the bad news. You can't go straight to the most recent version, oddly. You need to somehow get to the next version. Here's what I would do. I would search in the App Store. I don't even know if they still offer it, but I would look and see if you search for Mac OS Lion. That's the next one.
I'm doing it now.
And if they offer Lion, that's what you go to.
Safari Simulator Lion. Also,
you want the Lion upgrade. Boy, I don't know.
I got Lion FX for finance.
No, that's not it. No. Let's see. Knox in the chat room, who's very good usually, he says, try El Capitan and then go to Sierra. This is an interesting conundrum. This is not an old computer. It's only 6 years old. And in fact, because Apple has updated the MacBook so slowly, it's really only a couple of generations old. It's not even, it's less old because of that. So let me see what we're trying to figure out, and the chat room's helping me on this one, is where the next step for you is to get you up to at least the most recent version of the OS.
I've got El Capitan here. Now, the only thing it says is Learn OS X El Capitan.
Yeah, no. These are third-party programs. What you want is the El Capitan upgrade. You can probably, I wonder if you can download it from Apple's pages. This is the next thing. If you could do it without the App Store.
I appreciate you helping me.
Oh, yeah. And this is annoying as heck. Wow. You'd think Apple would make this a little bit easier, but I think that most Apple users just automatically, yes, okay. Well, no, that's not from Apple. Oh, you know what? You have to buy it. That's why. Now I understand.
Okay.
It's $20. Not bad. So all you have to do is go to the Apple Store.
Okay.
And for $20, you can buy and download. You don't even need a box. Buy and download. Although it looks like they want to ship it. It says, if you need to purchase OS X Lion, you may order it from this page. What you receive an email with a content code for the App Store. So then you'll get a redemption code in the email that you could then click a link. And once you get it to Lion, I guess that's where the speed bump is. They want you to pay for this one last upgrade because they stopped charging after this. So they want you to. Well, now Knox says you can go to 1011 for free. I'm very confused. So Knox, where does he get El Capitan? All right. I'll tell you what. We've got a link. We're going to put it in the show notes. Oh, but your browser's not working, right? Can you use it at all?
Let me see what happens when I go to
techguylabs.com. We'll put a link to the iTunes link, which will open up the App Store on El Capitan, so you don't have to do the search. And you should be able to install that for free. Once you do that, you'll be able to use update browsers and everything. If you wish, you could continue on to Sierra. I'm not sure. At some point, what Apple does is say, well, that laptop, the last version of the OS you can use is X. We won't let you upgrade past that point. So I'm not sure how far you can go. So I guess you don't need to buy Lion. I apologize. That was a mistake. And there is a how to upgrade page that might also help. Computers introduced in late 2009 or later can go to Mac OS Sierra, the most recent version. Good news. You can upgrade to the most recent version, which I would recommend you do, and then keep it as up to date as you can. So go to apple.com/ here's how this will save you some time. apple.com/macOS/how-2-upgrade. And then you'll see I'm upgrading from older versions. If you're upgrading from Snow Leopard, you need to go to El Capitan first, and then they say click here for instructions, and there's a whole set of instructions. So fortunately, Apple does offer that on their website.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So in fact, if you just Google Apple, how to upgrade, and you can find that page. It will walk you through the whole thing. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Sorry it took so long to figure that out. Wow. I finally narrowed it all down, and we're going to put it in the link in the show notes to the particular Apple article that tells you how to get an old Apple laptop up to the most recent version of OS X. It involves an intermediate upgrade for no apparent reason to El Capitan. If you just go to the support pages, support.apple.com, and read HT206886, it explains all. Not the why, just the how. No one knows why. Larry on the line from Altadena, California. Hi, Larry.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well. I got to say, I really enjoyed your conversation with Veronica.
Wasn't she great?
71 is still driving the bus.
Absolutely. Well, nowadays 71's the new 41.
Well, I agree with that since I'm almost 70 myself. I still got a kick out of it.
I notice as the older I get, and I'm sure that's true for you, the younger, older people seem.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Wisdom's in life, huh?
What can I do for you?
Well, I've got an Android phone, and on my Gmail, occasionally I get email text that's a singular line of words all the way down.
Oh, yeah. Like the margins are a 1 inch.
Yeah, and it's either sometimes a single letter all the way down or a single word all the way, but it's vertical.
Yeah.
The entire message.
Yeah. It's just bad HTML formatting. Somehow something got broken or snuck in there. I don't know if
my end of my phone.
It could be actually on your end, but it's one of those things where it's hardly worth trying to track down. And it could be at their end. It could be a misformatted email. This is HTML.
I don't get it on my computer at home.
Yeah, just the phone.
Just the phone.
Yeah, then it does sound like it might be something local. The way that Gmail, are you using the Gmail app?
Yes.
The Gmail app probably doesn't have a setting for this because it's a pretty simple app. But generally, the way these programs work, this is what we call HTML email. The email is formatted the same way a web page is, with markup language called HTML. And one of the things that can go wrong in the markup language is you can say the column width is, one letter. And then it goes all the way down the side. Not so good. That information often is stored in a template. But I don't know if you'd have access to that on the Android phone from Gmail. Not sure what the best way to fix this would be. You can't pinch and zoom or in any way reformat it by hand, I presume.
No.
Yeah. A couple of things you could try. There's a Gmail program from Google called Inbox that is it's another kind of Gmail. It reads the same account. It'd be very easy to try. You could see if it's misformatted there. And if it's not, well, you could use Inbox. I actually prefer Inbox to the Gmail app. The Gmail app's a little out of date.
What would you unload Gmail and reload inbox?
You don't have to even do that. You can have them both running simultaneously.
Okay.
Yeah, so try it in inbox and see if the same thing's happening. It shouldn't.
Okay.
It shouldn't. And then maybe check your accessibility settings. Make sure you don't have anything weird turned on that says, well, I can only read one character at a time or something like that.
Accessibility.
Yeah. It just sounds like poor formatting, but what's interesting is it works okay on the computer. Try it in the Inbox app. The Inbox app is free. You might prefer it. One of the nice things Inbox does is it predicts responses. It makes it very easy to answer email. It does almost an uncanny job of telling you what you might want to answer based on previous answers. And then all you have to do is press the button and it's done.
Okay. I also noticed, too, that it's one of those types of emails that's been forwarded on quite a bit. That's why. Okay, I understand what's going on now. All right. So, and you'll notice each time it gets forwarded, it gets indented. The previous one gets indented. So you've now got so indented that there's only room for one character. Oh, okay. Now that makes sense.
That's what's going on. Now I understand. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that. Tell people stop sending you those.
Okay. Home and read them on my computer.
Yeah, read them on your computer. You have more screen on your computer, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why. That makes sense. Yeah, it's indented. Every time you reply all, the previous reply gets indented one. You're quoted. Look in the settings. There might be a setting, there is on your desktop, for reducing quoting, for reducing the amount of space for quoting. That would fix it as well. I have a feeling, the app is very simple, that it probably doesn't have all the tools you would have to fix this on the desktop. Karen in Pomona, California. You're next. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Leo. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Listen, I am a music teacher, and I travel around to 5 different schools a week, and I'm not even sometimes in the same classroom at that school. I travel from class to class. So what I'm hoping exists is some kind of a portable projector that will work with my iPhone 6S.
Oh, yeah.
So that I can take pictures of cards, big, huge flash cards that I then don't have to carry around with me. I'm trying to be as portable as possible.
Isn't it a shame, though, that the schools don't offer this, that you have to buy one?
Well, no, we're hoping the district will.
Oh, get the district to do it. Yeah, so the category is called Pico projector, P-I-C-O. It means tiny projector. And these are projectors you could hold in the palm of your hand. They're that small. Yeah. And there are a variety of them made by all the companies that make projectors. The key...
Is there such a thing as a Bluetooth so that I don't even have to plug anything into it?
That's interesting. I don't think Bluetooth would be fast enough to show a screen.
Okay.
But there are probably wireless solutions, yes. But it might not be Bluetooth. It might be DLNA or, there are video specs that are like Bluetooth for doing this. So, yeah, because your phone, wireless. Yeah, you want wireless. So, yes, these will do that. There are a number of them. If you go to projectorcentral.com, they've got a list of their top 10 Pico projectors. But just Google Pico projector, and you'll see a bunch of them. They're less bright because they're not as big, so you're going to have to maybe darken the room a little bit. But they're really exactly for what you're describing, true portability. Really a great solution. We've even seen, and I don't know if this is going to take off or not, but phones with projectors built in, believe it or not. No one's, I think, well, wait a minute, Motorola, I think, with the Motorola add-ons has one of those, yeah. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Just a few minutes left in the show. Let's see if we can squeeze in a few more calls. Richard, Poway, California. Hello, Richard.
Hey, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
I've got a quick question. You have bailed me out so many times on products. Every purchase I make now is through Leo.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
You're just so awesome. I have Verizon as my telephone carrier, and my much better half, she's ready to buy a new Verizon cell phone. She was looking at the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge.
Yep.
And she just last night read about the new Samsung Galaxy S8 that's coming out at the end of March.
It's been almost a year. Well, okay, but it'll be announced March 29th.
Right.
It won't be available till a few weeks after that.
Okay. So this is a big step for her. She has an old smartphone that's useless. And she wants me to call you and ask you, should she wait for the S8 Plus? Is it worth the wait?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No. And the good news is you should see a price drop on the S7. That might be the biggest buyer's remorse. Not that she'd missed the S8, but that a month after she buys the S7, the price goes, kablooey.
That's what I told her. I love you.
The S7 is a spectacularly good phone. It has a great camera. One of the best cameras on the market today. Probably the S8 will do it a little bit better, okay?
Yeah.
The problem is you're really at what we call peak phone at this point. You can't do a whole lot to make it a lot better because you're already really good. So I don't think she should necessarily wait for the S8. She'd be waiting, in all likelihood, at least 6 weeks, maybe even 2 months.
Yes.
So
and her old phone is such a nightmare. I mean,
does she know she wants Android?
Yes.
Okay.
Then I'm on Android. She's on Android, and
I have no hesitation recommending the S7. I love it. Little fragile. Get a good case for it because it's all glass.
Yeah. Well, she's talking about the S7 Edge.
All glass.
All glass.
It's still all glass.
So no dropping.
Do not drop it. Get a good case for it.
She always gets a good case.
Yeah.
She has to have a pretty case.
Gotta get a nice, pretty case. I like the Edge. It's the most elegant, most beautiful phone you've ever seen because of the Edge. The negative on the Edge is you're holding it on the Edge, so it's a little weird to be holding it on the screen. If you're not really careful, you could actually make things happen on the screen with your fingers. But they have big ham fingers. I'm sure your wife has the most delicate, lovely little. Yeah, so she'll probably be fine on that. It's I have no hesitation saying get it. And yeah, I don't see any reason to wait. It's not going to be that much. We don't know all the details on the S8, but it's incremental at this point because you can't improve that much on something that good.
Fabulous. Okay, and the S7 will drop as soon as that 8 Plus comes out, right?
Don't drop it.
Right. Oh, no, the price
yes. The price might drop now because we're close enough now. You should keep an eye on the prices. Maybe even go to the store and say, hey, I know you're not going to want this in about a month. What kind of deal can you give me?
Great. Oh, you're awesome.
Hey.
Every product you ever guided me to has been the best.
I think you'll like it. Have her call me and tell me how she likes it when she's used it for a while.
I will definitely call you back on that one. But you got to give us an update when you do that river cruise.
Oh,
we're talking about the following year doing the exact same idea.
We're doing south of France. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. That's not till September, but yeah, I can't. The nice thing about river boats, they're very relaxing because there's nothing happening. You're just floating down the stream.
Well, next year we're playing. This year we're flying to Boston in September and getting off in San Diego. We're doing the Panama Canal cruise.
Oh wow! What cruise line do you go on?
We're going on Holland America.
Love them. I've done 10 Holland America cruises.
Oh, really?
Love them. Yeah. I used to be a lecturer for a company called Geek Cruises.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we'd go on these cruises on Holland America all over the world. I used to take my son. It was so much fun. And I'd talk about computers. It was a lot of fun. They're still around. They rebranded themselves to Insight Cruises. They do a lot of astronomy and science cruises now. I guess the geeks don't have the cruise money that the scientists do or something. I don't know. Insight Cruises is great, though. Hey, nice to talk to you. I know your wife will enjoy that phone. Our show today was brought to you by Carbonite. I mentioned last time I talked that I was going to talk about the business version of Carbonite this time. Great for home or office. But Carbonite for business, that's even more important that you have a great backup at business, right? Because everything is on that computer. And just like home users can get bit by ransomware, we're seeing more and more businesses shut down by ransomware. That's, and it can happen. One employee is all it takes, gets an email. The email is usually going to be something like from the boss from you, right? Or from the IRS, something that the employee is going to go, oh, I better take care of this. Mr. Smithers is going to be angry. And opens the attachment and bada bing, bada boom. Not only is that employee's computer encrypted and unusable, it then spreads through the network to your whole office. Now what are you going to do? I hear so many companies paying tens of thousands of dollars in ransom with no guarantee it's going to even work. All you need is Carbonite. Carbonite will back you up, and you get the ransomware. You go, okay, shut everything down. You erase the malware, restore your unencrypted data from Carbonite, you're good to go. See, Carbonite's backing up all the time, automatically, continuously, and it's not on your network. It's on the cloud where it's safe, protected, and you can get it anytime. Log into your Carbonite account on any computer. There's your stuff. You can download it. You can send it.
it's great. Try it right now. They even have a hardware appliance. For businesses, you don't have to do this, but one of the plans has a hardware appliance. You can copy your data locally and to Carbonite. See, and that's perfect. Carbonite.com. Try it free. No credit card needed. Do use my name, Leo, as the offer code, even on the business plan, because you get 2 months free with purchase. You got to back it up if you want to get it back. Don't be bit. Get Carbonite. Carbonite.com. Use my name, Leo. Last call of the day, I think. I fear. Stephen from Los Angeles. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I've been better. I've
Uh-oh.
been better for sure.
Sounds like a computer woe.
It's a Facebook woe.
Oh, whoa. What's happening?
So I manage bands for a living, and one of my main artists, I get a Facebook message from one of the band members last night, and it was really, really abrupt, and he said, "Hey, man, I don't know why I'm not an editor on the account, or I'm only an editor. I'm not an admin. Can you add me as an admin?" And he's like, I'm trying to work on the Facebook stuff and redo everything. And I was like, well, I don't know how to do that. And he goes, well, just click on this link and make me an admin, and we're good to go.
Uh-oh.
So I make him an admin, and within seconds, I get an email. The rest of the guys who are admins on the account get an email saying, you are no longer an admin on the account. And now our Facebook page is completely gone, and it's 8 years worth of work.
Oy.
It's gone. And I don't know what
So
to do.
I take it you called the band member who this guy was posing as and said, was that you? And he said no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because this is not, I mean, if it was him, then that's, I can't help you. But it was basically it was some bad guy posing as your band member. Right. And he got you to give him admin.
Yeah. So with his account, so now his account's done, and so is the
Yeah, you're hacked.
Yeah, and so
all you can do at this point, there's nothing you can do except throw yourself at the mercy of Facebook, contact them immediately, tell them what happened. Now, the problem with Facebook is they have 1.5 billion customers. And I don't know how many people work at Facebook, but unless it's, 100 million people, it's going to take them a while to get to you. But they will fix this. They have in the past. They are responsive, but you're just going to have to, get in there because they back it up. They have it all. And if you tell them what happened, we were hacked, then, and make sure you use the word hacked, they can restore it all for you. They'll take that guy off the account, they'll restore your admin accounts, and they can restore your data. No one else can do that, by the way. Only Facebook can do that. So at this point, you got to contact Facebook support. You can do that right from your Facebook app. Change your Facebook password. Have all the band members change their passwords. You don't want to get your accounts hacked any further. And then contact Facebook and say, hey, tell them what happened. And, it might take a while because, first of all, they're going to want you to prove you are who you say you are, because they don't want somebody to hack them. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And you see how easy that is. And one of the tricks hackers use is really important is urgency, panic, emergency. They don't want you to think. What's the best way to keep somebody from thinking? Scare them. Say it's an emergency. I've got to do this. Be abrupt. Be commanding. And that's effective. So when you get emails like that or messages like that, take a deep breath. Say, whoa, is this really who I think it is? Or because you don't want to act without thinking. And that's what they're trying to get you to do. I'm so sorry that happened. The only solution, Stephen, is to get help from Facebook. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Michael Cozio, great job on the music. Kim Schaffer, thanks for answering the phones. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.